Hey, thanks again for sending in questions related to our recent sermons. We are in the middle of a series entitled Next 85, where we are envisioning our next 85 years at Bridges Community Church. We've just completed our first 85 years, so we're turning the page to the next 85, and dreaming, envisioning what we will do in ministry, what our campus will look like, what our programs will look like, how to continue our mission in the community setting that we are right now. And this last week, we talked really a lot about the importance of relationships and connection. It's part of what Jesus commands us to do, is love God and love people. It's all in the context of relationships. And so we want our campus to reflect and foster relationships, not in any way hinder relationships. In the course of that sermon, I talked about how the majority of people come to faith in Christ through personal relationships right now. That's not to say other means of evangelism are not still effective and shouldn't be used. Of course, all of it's great. Any way to talk about Jesus is a great way to talk about Jesus. It just seems to be the most fruit comes from relationships. And so the question comes in this week is, has lots of layers, is how do people become Christians? How does this actually happen? And of course, theologically, we would say on the one hand, it's God's sovereign choice of us. Jesus says in John 3 that we must be born of the Spirit, same as we are born from water. And when that happens, it's the wind comes from who knows where. It comes and does what it does, and so it is as anyone who's born of the Spirit. Can't really pinpoint where it comes from. It's just the Spirit comes into our lives. Just as when we were born the first time, that happened. That's more so happening to us than us somehow, checking all the boxes and then achieving it. God has just lifted us up out of where we were before. He became our Father, right? When for our earthly fathers, it was our Father's choice over us that made us His, less than us, again, making sure we've achieved enough, to become His. It's His work in our lives. At the same time, we confess Jesus with our mouth and believe in our heart that He was raised from the dead and we will be saved. Romans 10. So there is this consent on our part, our acceptance, our willingness to go along with what God is doing in our lives. That's absolutely critical. And so those things are kind of either abstract or the last point in the road along our journey. How does someone get to the place from God begins to work in their life to them actually confessing with their mouth and believing in their heart that Jesus is saved? What's this in between? Or how's it often happening? And it happens a lot of ways differently for a lot of people. But right now, that is happening through relationships in our country the most. Somebody knows someone who they trust, who they respect, and that person shares faith, shares what it's like to believe in Jesus, shares their need for Jesus. And it resonates because it's coming from someone that they know and trust. It's peer-to-peer, it's friend-to-friend, it's, parent to child or child to parent or coworker to coworker. It's you're around someone who's a Christian, that Christian starts talking about Christ and it resonates with you because you trust that person. We're in a cultural moment, it seems, where our friends and those around us carry a lot of authority in our minds and hearts and wills. They carry more authority than others with all the false information that happens in the news and all the spin that happens from every ideology. Maybe that's why we're finding more authority in just somebody that we actually know, right? What can I trust that I see on the news? Who knows? But I trust my friend because I know my friend. And so then we we believe our friend more than what we might even read in a book or hear on a podcast or hear from a sermon. Like we don't, those people probably have their own biases and spins and all that, but we know our friend, and so we really do believe our friend. Same as like you can think about somebody's trying to lose weight. Who are they going to listen to? How to do that? The doctor might tell them something. They see an ad for some kind of diet. I mean, maybe those things can have some influence, but what's really going to influence them is they have like 3 friends who've lost a bunch of weight. They're going to go talk to those friends. Those friends have authority in their lives. It's just the moment that we're in right now. Friends have more authority than like experts in the field. And so that's how Christ is being accepted mostly in our country right now. And so it's a encouragement and a challenge for us. Our friends will probably listen to us. We hopefully have friends who are not believers. And so what are we doing to speak into their lives and influence them? Because it's probably, if they're going to listen to anybody, they're going to listen to you because you're their friend. So that's really how it's happening today. We thank you for the question, and we'll see you next time.